What's going on, you guys? Nomicon here, bringing you my perspective as to what entertainment is bringing us. And today, I'll be doing another discussion video. And this time, I will be discussing the future of the Tron franchise. And think and thankfully, I am not doing this alone. I got three other people with me. The first person I'll be introducing is someone who has been participated in the discussion video series. He has come back after discussing the future of the Transformers franchise. His name is Super Nerd Convoy. How are you doing today?
What cracking, Big Smackin'? Hey, it's me. Yep, I'm back.
And the other two people are brand new to the discussion video series. And the first person I'll be introducing is Mr. Retro. How are you doing today?
Heck yeah, first podcast.
Yep. And the last person I'll be introducing is Mr. Tesla Rosa. How are you doing today?
Hey guys, Tesla Rosa, name's Tez for short. But yeah, good to be here. You might also know me as Zip Zap or Zip Zap Squared on YouTube. And yeah, that's me. Good to be here.
Uh, all right. So before we get started, I just want to ask all of you. So I just want to start with how were we introduced to the Tron franchise? So for me, I was introduced to Tron through Tron Legacy. I remember seeing advertisements of that movie when it was coming out, and I I don't know why, and it looked very intriguing. But this was when I was 11 or 12 years old, so it looked so cool, and I just for some reason never bothered to watch it in theaters until I just never bothered to watch it until I finished high school. And it wasn't until recently that I decided to commit to watching the whole entire movie, and I was obsessed. I became obsessed with Legacy. So I'll so so Convoy. How were you introduced to the Tron franchise?
Personally, I was introduced to it via watching Legacy when I was a kid. Shocker, I know, but the circumstances of it was my cousin wanted to watch it, and since another family member and I were watching, were kind of hanging out at their house at the time. We were like, sure, why not? Next thing you know, I have become so obsessed with Tron that I genuinely wanted to call myself Super Nerd Tron, but, well, Convoy kind of beat it out.
Okay. And as for Mr. Retro, how were you introduced to Tron?
I think the same as most of Gen Z through Legacy. I didn't watch it in theaters. I think the closest I had as a kid was just a cousin who was obsessed with it. We watched we rented the movie once, like on one of the early like streaming services like Netflix, I think, and I had no idea what was going on. Uh, but later on in life, I think around like I think 2024, it became a hyperfixation because thanks to Disney Plus, and then it happened again with the hype with recently with Tron Ares, and ironically now I'm still kind of obsessed with it.
All right. And as for Tez, how were you introduced to Tron?
So for me, I wasn't introduced through Tron Legacy at first. It was actually from a movie poster or from a poster. I think it was like concept art of Tron Legacy. And this was when I was 9 years old. I didn't really know what exactly it was about. All I just saw was a cool looking motorcycle, with neon lights and everything. And I thought it was just like a DeviantArt 3D model or something that somebody made. And then come like 6 months later, the trailer dropped on Disney Channel. And that was when I figured out, like, oh, this is real. Like, this is actually like a movie. So, yeah, I remember, begging my dad to, let me go see this movie, on Christmas, because that was when the movie was coming out. And yeah, we went and we did just that. Um, and yeah, that's how I was introduced.
So it seems like there's one common thing. We were all introduced to the franchise by Legacy.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you had to bring up your deepest, darkest secrets
No,
and reveal
we'll
that you
get into
didn't.
that later. We'll get into that later.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am certain. Yeah. All right. Let's go to the Tron franchise. Let's start all the way with the very first movie. This movie came out in 1982. Yeah, 1982. This was I'm pretty sure this was before Back to the Future. I think this was released in the same year as the first Terminator movie. Maybe the first Terminator movie came a year
The
later.
first Terminator was a year later, but yeah.
Terminator was 84, but I could see why. I could see why it was so like influential at the time.
Back to the Future was 85. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
impressive. The fact that this was when Star Wars was still like the biggest thing on the planet. So the fact that
Oh yeah, just a year later.
The fact that this movie came out in 1982 and it introduces so many things for computer animation and CGI as a whole. The fact that it still holds up, it is still very impressive. That's so impressive.
Yeah,
Actually,
a lot of people slept on the 1982 version before, like, even after Legacy came out. Like, a lot of people have no idea like how revolutionary that the original Tron movie was back in the 80s. So for like CGI and everything, like the most like the most usage of CGI only came from like brief movies from the 70s into the 80s. They weren't like actual like theatrical releases. They were featured in film festivals, or they were test videos to test out like new technology and stuff like that. No, like Tron 1982, like it was the first movie to use CGI, especially to the extent that it does throughout the entire movie. So
Yeah.
it was really influential.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
not
was
just
one of
that,
the-
but like many different styles of CG as well.
Mostly enough, the CGI when they were animating it. It wasn't just here's a model, you render it and then you move it. No, it was more like math. It was literally just programmed animation. Like you needed to turn it a certain way. You had to put in you had to rework the algorithm just so that it can turn the right way. And when you go back and watch it and you see the little like wobbles and the little like turns and the thing and the supposed little motions of gravity in quotation marks, you can tell like they programmed all of that in when it came to the external stuff.
Yes. And it's also important to mention this. It didn't happen instantly. It took weeks to render a frame. Well, hours to render a frame, and then it could take like upwards of weeks to render a scene.
Oh yeah.
Even shockingly enough, I watched I didn't watch like a documentary, but I watched like people talking about this already. But apparently, Tron was going to be an animated movie, not to the degree of Toy Story, but possibly like a hybrid of styles, 2D and 3D.
Yeah, in the in the beginning, it was they were thinking about it 2D animated.
2D animated with.
Sorry. Speaking of Toy Story, John Lasseter has stated that Pixar would not have existed if it wasn't for Tron.
Yeah, in fact, to put it bluntly, Tron Tron and Pixar and like the history of CGI kind of leans back to Industrial Light and Magic and stuff. Sometimes some people they kind of created some form of division for. They created a division for CGI for projects, and lo and behold, these projects led to Pixar and in these massive parts of industry. Shockingly enough, one of the concept artists was Sid Mead. For those who don't know, Sid Mead was a big retro futuristic artist who created numerous concept art for movies and shows. In fact, not Tron wasn't one of his big sci-fi like forays into film. The biggest one being of all media, Blade Runner and even get this, everybody, not Tron, sorry, Mobile Suit Turn A Gundam.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
Impressive.
yeah. So Sid Mead was the he was the visionary behind like an entire like generation of like aesthetics particularly in the 80s.
Yep. Look here. This is what he believed a light cycle would look like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's actually not too far from the legacy
from the
design.
final. Yeah.
Yeah, the only difference was they couldn't render a person on the bike properly with the technology at the time, so they made it a closed capsule.
That makes sense. That makes way more sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in a way, the legacy bikes are kind of like a way to
They are essentially the original vision plus the new aesthetic that they have created.
Oh wait. Okay, yeah, I remember Sid Mead. Yeah, I recognize his art. I've seen it all before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Before we go on, before we diverge the conversation away from the main topic of Tron, it's really cool to see like concept art, see some concept art, retrofuturistic ideas be remolded into stuff such as, well, Tron and other famous sci-fi media. Hey,
yeah.
I like, let me put it this way. Mobius, comic book artist Mobius worked on this movie.
Yeah.
He was kind of the guy behind like a lot of certain pieces of Tron.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. To my viewers, if for those of you that don't understand what Convoy was talking about, here is one of the concept arts that from Sid Mead when he was creating the Tron light cycle. This is from the up top. You would see the light cycle is all colored in red, and on the bottom it's all black and white. So you would see how the concept of Sid Mead's light cycle. So that's how the light cycle was first introduced, and that we see in now the first Tron movie. And and the last thing I want to mention about Tron is that this movie actually got disqualified for one particular Grammy category, and that is no, not Grammy, Oscar, and that is best visual effects. And it was because it was because it's because the Oscars thought they were cheating.
How ironic,
Cheating?
everybody!
Wait! How?
Because they used CGI rather than using practical effects from at the time. You know, it wasn't Gomation, it wasn't optical. It wasn't optical effects. It wasn't using
this is the first film like to seriously use computer generation, and at the time that nobody understood it.
Yeah,
that's
much.
wild.
Yeah, it is. That's wild.
Also, before we wrap up on Tron, from me, if you look at the certain character works, they were drawn by, as I previously mentioned, Mobius. And if you look closely at certain like designs of Tron, you can really tell that whereas Sid Mead worked on the aesthetic. Mobius worked on the character designs, and I'm just gonna say it. Mobius is. I'm kind of upset that they got rid of the Mobius look, because like the intricate detailing in the suits is.
Yeah. Perhaps in another world where maybe the original Tron got a sequel closer to its original release, we might have been able to see this aesthetic like with a high budget.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I imagine the concept art designs were a bit too complex to actually put into practice, so they had to make it a little simpler.
No, that's not why I'm upset. What I'm saying is that a lot of these I just kind of feel like concept art, though ambitious as they are, aid in cementing the film's visual style. It solves problems between what does this world look like and how does it function.
Yeah.
Just look at like the headpiece here. It's not just a helmet. You could tell like it's not a helmet. It's melded into the.
Yeah.
It looks like it's part of him, like part of the person.
Part of the program or part of the user.
Yeah. Which is
also
which is
here's
kind
the
of what
Also, I believe this is supposed to be what Flynn would have looked like.
Hmm.
You can tell from the symbol.
Why is he wearing a tunic?
Because that's what he looked like in the first movie.
Yeah, pretty sure he wore a tunic in the original film.
Yeah, both him and Gear.
I don't remember that. Hold on.
No need. I already have it.
Yeah.
That's like a robe, not a tunic.
No. That's for Ares. I'm talking about 82.
Yeah.
Like right here.
Oh.
Yeah.
See?
Wow, I didn't remember that at all.
Well, sometimes that's a problem when it comes to like the visual aesthetics, the final visuals, where there's so much attention given to like the very intricate, detailed look of it all. But when you actually try to find the differences visually, other than the titled character with the gigantic T, compare Tron with Flynn. It's just a little subtle thing that could aid you in visually distinguishing them. But when you add too much detail, way too much detail in a design, it really makes it unintentionally make a few things blur once in a while. Like you.
Yeah.
You think they might have added it to like distinguish his humanity from programs?
That might be the case.
It might be, although it is weird because his in the very first part of the film where we see the original Clue, he's also wearing a tunic.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I think it's just simply to distinguish Flynn in his programs from the rest.
Yeah, look. There's Clue screaming There's Clue screaming.
Yeah, the original. Let me at him.
Let me at him. There. That's a good soldier.
Oh, he doesn't seem he's wearing a tunic. So I guess you're all right. I guess the tunic is kind of a sign of humanity.
Yeah. Though they do add robes to the High Council, but that makes sense because they're like the oldest parts of the program.
Yeah, you can almost see a sort of like wisdom with the characters who own cloaks in the film.
Exactly. Anywho, since we are done with the aesthetics of 82, I think it's time for us to go further into the grid.
Before we go into legacy mode, there is one there. Let's go into the video game side with Tron 2.0. I actually just recently found out about this, so I saw
I've
some
I've already
screens.
known.
I saw some screenshots of this game, so I'm not sure if any of you guys have at least heard of it. Starting with Convoy,
Oh,
have you at least heard of this game? Have you played it?
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah, dude. It was kind of like it's. I can't believe I'm saying this. Compared to Tron Legacy, I would honestly believe if they made this into a movie, this would have been a sequel to Tron, if not for Legacy being so mind blowing.
Okay, okay. Hey, Retro, have you heard of this game, Tron 2.0?
oh.
It,
So I actually have played this game.
oh, really?
It's yeah,
He's he,
it's it's
How
a
was it?
really yeah. It's well, the PC port's a little bit on the rough side, but it is a pretty dang fun. It's made by Monolith, who's I believe they've done a few games. They've done like Blood, few like Fear, and also later on Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor and such. They're
so yeah. Let's add. So yeah.
yeah,
Thanks, Warner Rose.
yep. But yeah,
Uh,
it's a pretty solid, it really interesting. Like it's a completely different take on the series, but like not in a bad way per se. And although I will say the difficulty kind of shoots up and down very harshly. It's kind of a tragedy. It overall,
It's a
honestly,
good
like
game, but wrapped in difficulty problems.
yeah,
It looks like
honestly, I
a
think
mix between. Oh, sorry.
you can go.
It looks like a mix between 1982 and Legacy, just a little bit, like a bridge
Yeah,
between those movies.
yeah,
Yep.
it kind of was. It came out in the early 2000s. Tron 1.5, you could call it.
Hmm.
The reason why I kind of like the reason why it's called Tron 2.0 is to play off the idea that, oh, this is the sequel to Tron, but it's also like this is also the game. This is also where you essentially where you essentially have a first person shooter action take on it. So
Yeah, it's literally a computer program like upgrade over the.
yep.
Yeah,
all right, Tesla. I'm assuming you've never heard of this game.
I've heard of it actually. I never got to play it though.
I also never got to play it. I just heard
yeah,
about this like very recently. So
Well,
yeah.
I believe now's your chance since
Yeah. Oh,
it's
actually,
on Steam.
yeah, it
I'm
just got back on Steam. It got taken down.
wait, it just got back on Steam.
Yeah, it was a licensing thing, but it's back now.
Okay, so since I'm
Yeah,
assuming, I'm surprised since not only is it a Disney game, but Monolith shut down. So
yeah,
it's good to see
I
that
think
it's back.
yeah, yeah. If you're playing on PC, make sure to get the killer app mod so it like works better. But otherwise, you're good to go.
Okay.
Gonna add this to my
Actually,
wish list. Oh, it's
yeah,
only $3.50. Nice.
yeah,
Oh, that
it's
might be
pretty
a
solid.
deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
again,
if you
it's
want to show look up the Tron 2.0 super light cycle. This is kind of a cool fact. This was actually designed by Sid Mead for this game. So it's actually the other light cycle that he designed for Tron.
Okay. Now let's
Yeah.
move on to what is, in my eyes, one of the greatest science fiction movies of all time, and should be heralded as one of the greatest sequels ever made, Tron Legacy. So again, so again, so again, I I knew of this movie ever since I seen advertisements for it back when it was coming to theaters. I I just never got around to it until like around when the 2020s decade began, and ever since then I was honestly hooked. I was so hooked. It did
yeah, yeah.
this movie is
We gotta talk
everything
about that.
this movie is everything you this movie is everything you ever want in a science fiction movie. The visuals, the soundtrack, the literally or every the literally the action sequences. This is literally the atmosphere. This is literally everything you ever want in 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 a science fiction movie. Even the
The
story was
themes too.
pretty. Even the story was engaging, despite the fact that Tron is not known for having a story. No one talks about this movie, but no one talks about this. But what I love about Legacy is that it's the father and son dynamic. It is literally one of the very few movies where I could say that there is a father and son dynamic and it works. It really benefits the movie. So
Yeah,
this should be heralded as one of the greatest science fiction movies of all time, and it is one of the greatest achievements Disney has ever made. I legit cannot believe this is a Disney movie. The fact that let alone this is a PG movie. This movie's rated PG. Like
Are you sure this was PG? Because I thought it was PG
it was
13.
P- it was
this-
PG.
It's PG, yeah.
Oh shoot! So
Yeah.
so a couple years ago, we could have had a PG. There was a PG movie for kids where it had genocide, had a dystopia, had a terrifying dystopia led by an evil tyrant, terrifying recreations of old friends compiled onto a pretty dead software, and all for the low price of your mental sanity and your belief that science fiction should only be like Star Wars.
Oh yeah, so you can get away with a
I-
lot when
I'd
you're
like
not killing
to-
humans.
I'd like to mention like the themes like in like explored in this movie, like the exploration of sentient but artificial beings, coming to life, like the duality of perfection and imperfection, um like um like we see how Clue was tasked to create the perfect system, and he sees these artificial life forms developing a consciousness, basically, basically seeing these life forms as an imperfection, and then going on to destroy them all because he sees them as like getting in the way of his goal of a perfect system. And I think I think like themes like this, like this is I'd like to say this is the first movie that really introduced me into the cyberpunk genre, like how technology can intertwine with society and like really dystopian ways, um like like how we see with Clues, authoritarian rule and things of that nature. And yeah, yeah, it's a really great theme. And I also love the father son dynamic, because they released this movie 28 years after the first one. So they made this sequel knowing that there was going to be a huge generational gap, and they played into it. Like Sam Flynn's father, like he is literally stuck in the 80s, because that was the last time he saw the real world, before being stuck in the grid. And like his son lived in the real world up until that point. So it's a really fun dynamic, and I'm really glad that they like played with it.
Personally, the biggest thing that made me fall in love with Tron, other than its aesthetic and the family stuff, is that I feel like this is I feel like this is what a real sequel should be. It's not only expanding the story, but it makes things more personal to the characters. What was so good about what was the plot of the first movie? Evil AI we need to destroy before it takes over the rest of the world. Simple as that. With the added aesthetic of getting shoved in there, all shoved in the grid, and having to survive the video games equivalent, which to us video games, but in there it's literally just torture and torment and essentially gladiatorial combat.
Oh yeah.
But presented with such beautiful with such beauty and shine that you forget that this is dark, that this is a dark, evil world or a malicious world.
I also wanted to add like the aspect ratios of the movie, right? So
Oh my
if you watch
God.
if you watch this movie on Blu-ray, there are some scenes that switch between 16:9, the standard aspect ratio for movies today, to widescreen letterbox, like super wide screen. And this is especially noticeable between the real world and the grid. So like in the real world, like you see black boxes, uh on the upper half and the bottom half of the screen, right? And once he enters the grid, it goes into full screen. So there's no more letterboxes. And the reasoning behind this was because it was an IMAX release, which makes technical sense, but to me, that's kind of symbolic. It's kind of symbolic to me because it kind of symbolizes Sam stepping out of the comfort zone of the real world and stepping into uh a world beyond his comprehension, and I thought that was pretty cool.
It
Yeah.
they also they also transition it to full screen to showcase the grid, Kevin Flintz's very own creation, into its full potential. And visually, it is one of the most stunning films I have ever seen. The fact
Yeah.
that this movie came out in 2010 and it still looks visually stunning is absolutely outstanding. And
Oh yeah.
I want to mention this. This was Tron Legacy is Joseph Kosinski's directorial debut. And if you don't know who Joseph
The same
Kosinski
guy
is,
behind Top Gun Maverick.
yep, Top Gun
The
Maverick.
dude essentially had become the king of what I call a requel. I know a lot of people might call it that, but a requel is basically, hey, you guys remember this movie from old days? Yeah. Well, we're gonna reboot it. Boo! But it's also a sequel to the original. Oh.
Yeah. Remake, sequel, requel.
I call it a requel for rebooted sequel.
That's awesome. Like, what a great start for this director, honestly.
It really
Yeah.
is.
What
It
it-
really is.
But I believe you be
And fun
actually-
fact about this director, he majored in architecture, and I think it shows in this film in particular.
Oh no. Showcasing in this film no, that can't be right. If he was an architect, if he was an architect, that means everything would be boring and not as inspiring as Tron Legacy. I'm being sarcastic because I'm honestly shocked by how skilled the dude is.
Very skilled. Like, he's a one of a kind director. Honestly, he is one of a kind. I still haven't watched F1. I gotta get around to that.
Yeah.
Actually, little fun fact for me. When I was in the theater watching Tron Legacy, when I watched it in IMAX 3D because my cousin did it like that, and I was like, because I was too much into a 2D guy. So, but for early on in the movie, it was just normal. It was just a normal looking movie. I was like, where's the 3D? Guess it was broken after all. Then he went into the grid, and that's when the 3D exploded. I'm like, oh, you clever son of a bitch. You clever sons of bitches.
Yeah.
You hit me with a clever state to make your fantasy setting more special. You gave them the gimmick.
There's one thing we need to talk about. The soundtrack. That is one of
Oh
the
my-
Oh yes.
that is one of the greatest movie soundtracks of all time. The fact that this was
No.
not nominated for a Grammy is absolutely mind-boggling. How the fuck was this not nominated for an Oscar nor a Grammy?
Because it had 2 words for you. 2 words. Daft Punk. It was a band. They had the band do it rather than they focused more on the fact that they hired a very highly renowned tech band alongside an actual composer. If they had just said, "Oh, this is just here's our composer, and here's our composer, here you go," with additional tracks from Daft Punk, then it could have been different. Like they could have said, "Okay, this is essentially the normal soundtrack. We could just put this in a different topic." Oh no, we're advertising it as the Daft Punk movie. That's what I believe went wrong. It's not the composers themselves that's wrong. It's the fact that Disney decided to push forward that it's Daft Punk rather than here's Daft Punk, here's a couple tracks from Daft Punk, but here's our bitchin' soundtrack because bitchin' that it makes you feel like you want to explode into code and get into the grid just so that you can live there forever, so you can listen to that soundtrack. Like, dear God, it's so good.
Wait, so who originally composed Tron Legacy alongside Daft Punk?
There was another name. I forgot his name, but there
Exactly.
It doesn't even show him on Spotify.
There was another guy. I forgot his name, but he did the.
I can look it up.
It's Joseph Trapanese. Yeah. He did the orchestral part.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was thinking of somebody else. I was thinking of the composer of Studio Ghibli movies.
Oh, Joseph
if that was the case, then if that was true, then by God,
Joe Hisaishi. That's who I was thinking of. Sorry.
Yeah. So it hit Trapanese along with Daft Punk. Literally composed one of the greatest film soundtracks of all time. You'd be hard pressed to believe that this is a Disney soundtrack, and the fact, people always talk about the Pixar songs, the Disney princess songs. Tron Legacy should be in the discussion as one of the greatest soundtracks Disney has ever made. It is literally that good. It is like a once in a lifetime experience. It is literally an experience. That's what this album from Daft Punk created. And if I want to, this is mind you, this is pre Random Access Memories Daft Punk. This was before Random Access Memories.
I can't really think of any other movie. Well, there is another movie that used electronic sounds alongside musical score, and that's Blade Runner, right? So like I think this is like one of the few, like one of the first few movies of the 21st century that combined electronic music with film score to such an extent like this. And it's funny that I mentioned Blade Runner because like Daft Punk actually cited Vangelis, the composer of Blade Runner, as one of their inspirations for the soundtrack. So I thought that was pretty cool.
This is the biggest. Retro. You have anything to say about the soundtrack?
Yeah, I gotta say that there's a lot of media that has used like the electronic music, like especially like if you've seen a lot of like in the 70s and 80s TV shows that and like movies that use it solely, but like I would say Tron Legacy does an insanely unique take on combining the orchestral and electronic in a way that it always feels so epic. That's the best way to describe it. It's like
when you listen to the soundtrack, it kind of sounds like a battle between machines and humans, which is pretty much what was going on in the movie. Like we have Sam and Kevin Flynn, fighting their way out of the grid, like destroying, like smashing, slicing through, freaking, all the programs, all the evil programs, like. Clue's Army. So, the point I'm trying to make is like it sounds like a clash between machines and humans, which fits perfectly, right? It fits perfectly for the movie.
Yeah.
All right, but can we all admit one thing?
Was that?
Can we all admit one thing?
What?
Rinsler is not an aura farmer. He is literally the investor of the aura farming.
Wait, I just noticed something.
What?
Rinsler, like his outfit has the Tron emblem like on his suit.
Oh, you just realized that?
I just noticed that.
Fair enough.
It's not as big or as like showcasing as the first movie, but it's so subtle. But yet you can notice. Like the moment I saw that logo the first time, I'm like, "Is that Tron?" I didn't say that out loud, but I was like, "Is that Tron?" But Tron looked so, man, Tron. But is he a good guy? I didn't. I was because I was so blown away and caught up in all the visuals. I kind of forgot. I did not read between the lines. Like, oh yeah, dude. Rinsler's been reprogrammed and reused, and I'm like, but why is Tron bad? And then I saw him turn good. I'm like, now Tron good? What the fuck? That was baby me, baby convoy. Baby convoy loved the visuals and wanted to see more unique sci-fi. In fact, that's kind of the reason why I started getting into Doctor Who and Kamen Rider and all that and Super Sentai. Because, put it bluntly, Tron Legacy sat me down, gave me a cup of cocoa, then smacked away that cocoa because by that point I was just, ew, hot chocolate, it burns, and told me sci-fi is not Star Wars. It can be more.
We need to talk about the remix album that they dropped after this movie too.
Oh,
I have not listened. I've only listened to bits and pieces of the remix album, so I'm out of the loop on that.
Oh, well, yeah. So in 2011, like a year after Legacy, was released, they came out with Tron Legacy Reconfigured, and this album was basically how I got introduced to like the electronic music genre. Multiple electronic music genres, because they had like so many rising names featured on this album that did remixes of each song that was in the soundtrack. So we got D-Rezzed, for example, that was remixed by the Glitch Mob, The Grid remixed by the Crystal Method, Fall by M83. We also got Cascade, Comtrues, Avicii, even like they even got Avicii to
Wait,
work on
Avicii
this album.
before he did "Wake Me Up"?
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's wild.
Yeah, Paul Oakenfold and Moby too. Yeah, so some big names, in the electronic music scene, and some also some rising names too. So,
what I find to be the most funnest. Okay, I have not listened to it personally, which means that I am a quote unquote fake fan. Please stop throwing tomatoes at me. Please stop. No, but I do want to say, like, the fact that the little bit of like personal aesthetics that they've added to this cover is actually quite unique, because they made it look like it's an old Apple or a very old Apple II computer, where like it looks like it's all pixely and all that. Well, minus the Disney logo, but Disney forgot. Oh wait, this is actually part of the aesthetic.
Yeah, they probably couldn't pixelate it at that scale without it turning into mush.
That's probably the case.
One thing I want to mention about Tron Legacy before we move on is that this movie came out in 2010. This movie came out in the same year as Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, Toy Story 3, and Tangled. this was 2010 was a big year for Disney. The other three movies that I mentioned were more successful, but the fact that Tron Legacy stood on its own and is honestly honestly just as well liked as Toy Story 3 and Tangled should tell you a lot on how this movie holds up and how much of a big following this movie has.
Yeah, it's important to mention this is the pretty much the only Tron film that was kind of a success.
Yeah, yeah, there was.
It was kind of a success. Yeah, it broke. I believe it broke. I believe it broke even. I did a bit of quote unquote research, and it turns out the best way to know that you made it through, that you were a box office success, or at least break even, is basically go 2.5. You have to have your budget be. You have to have the box office. You have to be at least 2 or 2.5 times the budget.
Yeah,
To break
depending on
even.
the
Yeah.
advertising. Yeah,
Yeah, so Legacy had a budget of 170 million. It came back with 409.
Yeah,
Almost 410.
yeah. So
it broke even.
yeah,
It broke even.
Yeah.
But I believe the big problem was that Disney wanted more from it. They wanted their Star Wars again. They wanted their Star Wars killer.
yeah. They considered it a disappointment, even though it still did insanely well, regardless.
It broke even.
Yeah,
But it
they were
wasn't enough.
insanely greedy on this one.
Yeah,
I also blame the shitty toys that they did.
I mean, I thought the toys were cool. Like I had a Tron cycle or light cycle, like a model of a light cycle. Like it was the original one from 1982, but it was white. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
So-
but here's the problem. Listen, let me put it this way. When I was a
that
kid,
one.
this was the only thing I got for the Tron toys. That was it. No figures, no Flynns, no Rinsler, no Tron, nope. This was it. This was the peak of my Tron toys.
That was the best looking one, honestly.
Yeah. And it was in the movie for like a couple minutes. It was in the background a couple times, and then next thing you know, Sam stole it, gave it away, and we're done. You don't see the classic anymore. You don't see the version 2. Technically this was the version 2 between it and Legacy.
Yeah, this is the Gen 2 light cycle, which is if anyone's wondering, this is called the Gen 5 light cycle. From a Legacy.
yeah,
Don't mind the dogs.
Yeah, I remember the toys for Tron Legacy was everywhere back in the day. It was everywhere. There was
Yeah, but
there was a whole line of toys. I remember being in Toys R Us. There was a whole line of Tron, Toy Story, Alice in Wonderland, and Tangled, all in one aisle. That it was insane.
the biggest problem. No, okay. I'm pissed off because guess what? Lego did that. Lego Tron Legacy. And I'm like, oh man, that's so cool.
It
And
never
about
happened.
dang time they did. About dang time, yes. Like if Lego did like a Lego Tron series for Disney, as they did with like, Toy Story 3 and the Lone Ranger, I guarantee you it would fly off the shelves.
And there's still time.
I forgot about the Lone Ranger. Oh my god.
Yeah, Disney. It's kind of crazy.
Disney in the early
remember.
2000s had weird Lego sets.
Yeah.
This was 2010.
Yeah, late 2000s, early 2010s, Disney was like going all in on like how many franchises can we invent, like, and
They literally adapted the Prince of Persia into Sands of Time. They adapted that game into a movie.
yeah,
Crappy, I know, but it was a fun time.
yeah, but
my biggest anger at everyone, including today, is that they dismissed John Carter of Mars because it was a because they call it a shitty movie because it didn't do well at the box office.
No one who is a John Carter like that's just
I have no idea who. Honestly, the only thing I knew about John Carter was that, the story took place in Virginia. That was it.
Yeah, same.
No, John Carter is from Virginia. It's just they don't.
He's from Virginia. Okay,
he's from Virginia, but because he was from Virginia, he was a Confederate soldier. But it wasn't because he was fighting. He was fighting for his home rather than fighting for the bad stuff. He was just fighting for his home.
Yeah, which is even that stuff's like the point of the film was like it was on Mars and it was just wow that whole ordeal was a mess. Like
wait,
what a
I'm sorry. It took place he's from Arizona apparently. Doesn't mention Virginia on the Wikipedia page at least. So I don't know where I got Virginia from. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Are you sure? Because are you sure?
Yeah, in the movie, I think it's a movie like adaptation thing. I don't know.
Well, to get back on topic, Tron Legacy, one of the this film's a masterpiece. One of the greatest movies ever, one of the greatest sequels ever made, one of the greatest movies Disney has ever made. I still can't believe this is a Disney movie. That's
now there's
that's
no. Actually, Nomicon.
What?
There's one little fun fact that you promised everybody that you'd get to when we get to Legacy.
Oh yeah, about that. So my parent. So in 2010, I was not allowed to. I was limited. I was not allowed to watch TV too much, and that includes movie theaters. And because of that, I unfortunately did not get the chance to watch not only Tron Legacy but Toy Story 3 in theaters. And
Boo!
yeah, Toy Story 3 hurt me the most because Toy Story was the first movie I remember watching. And
Boo!
the only reason why I already knew of Toy Story 3's whole entire story was because I read a comic book based off Toy Story 3. I don't know if that comic book is still around, but yeah, that's how I knew of Toy Story 3's story. And yeah, unfortunately.
Well, what was the movie you saw that year?
The only as far as I know, the only movie I only saw one movie in 2010 with my brother and with my uncle, and it was Yogi Bear.
He watched this movie. He watched this movie instead of Legacy.
Boo!
My condolences.
That was absolutely embarrassing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say this, but it was cringe.
It's nothing to be embarrassed about, honestly. I mean, yeah, your family's your family. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's just move on from the most embarrassing thing about this.
Yeah. And let's move on to Tron's inclusion in Kingdom Hearts. So Tron and Kingdom Hearts 2. I want to start with Tron and Kingdom Hearts 2. So Tron was kind of an integral part to Kingdom Hearts 2's whole entire story. And honestly, I love that. And the whole entire world and the whole entire grid in Kingdom Hearts 2, they implemented it perfectly. It looked amazing. But I would imagine it looked amazing back in 2005. It still holds up, and I love how they. I actually love. I actually believe that they gave Tron a little bit more depth in Kingdom Hearts 2 than they did in the movie, which is kind of a shame. But I really loved Tron's inclusion in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah. If you want to know something really
Dream Drop Distance is in Tron Legacy's inclusion in Dream Drop Distance felt kind of tacked on, which is disappointing because I felt that the grid in that movie had a lot more potential. So I'll just
yeah.
I'll just send it off to Mr. Retro to give him his thoughts
Yeah.
on Tron's inclusion in Kingdom
Yeah.
Hearts.
Yeah. You gotta respect Kingdom Hearts 2 for effectively being a Tron fan but way before it was cool.
Yeah,
Like
I
it,
agree.
yeah. And fun fact, Sora's light cycle in this game, it's actually if it looks familiar, yeah, that's the super light cycle from Tron 2.0.
They made it canon.
I
don't care where they made it canon.
Yeah, so yeah, there it is. A little bit of a Tron It's not entirely sure if this was like intentional or not. But these two games just so happen to share the super light cycle.
Yeah.
Damn
So,
it.
yeah. So basically, there for some people, for a lot of people, folks, Kingdom Hearts introduced a lot of people to Tron. I already knew of it thanks to Legacy, but for a lot of people before Legacy, it was Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah.
So,
And
so Mr. Convoy,
you could kind of almost argue that.
How do you feel about the Kingdom Hearts implementation of Tron?
Personally, I really enjoyed the idea, and plus bonus to the fact that every time Sora, Goofy, and Donald go into the world of Tron, into a world, they would sometimes have their outfits fit the vibes, and just the fact that instead of just making Sora look just like himself, but change a few things to suit the Kingdom Hearts style. No, they went all in with the Tron-esque style for him. I really, really enjoyed it. Also, the fact that they brought in the MCP again, Mr. Terrifying Conehead, is really good. Is really cool. Plus, it does help out with giving both Sora and Tron and everyone else in the grid their own distinct like distinct silhouette to know which character is which. Because if they had just gone all in and made Sora more human looking with the Tron look, it wouldn't be as creative as they did here.
Yeah, pretty much. And Tesla, how do you feel about Kingdom Hearts' implementation of Tron?
A lot of people are going to be mad, but I never played a Kingdom Hearts game. The most Kingdom Hearts that I played was, I think it was either the first or the second one. I got stuck on the first level and I had no idea how to progress. I stopped playing it from there. I just gave up. I was like, what, in the first or second grade when that happened? But yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
it's fine. Listen, everyone. You can. I will sacrifice myself for this. I can see why people don't continue with games that they don't get through by the first level. Mainly because either A, your sibling hid you the manual was missing and you don't know what the heck the controls are.
Well, no, I just didn't know how to read. That was it.
I see. I see. Age.
I didn't get into Kingdom Hearts until I was in high school.
I never got into Kingdom Hearts until later in my life.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I think the only reason I got that game was because, you know, it had Donald Duck and Goofy in it.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh hey, it has Mickey Mouse characters in it. I want to play this game, Dad.
My brother actually loved Kingdom, was actually in love with Kingdom Hearts even before he even played the games. He actually he saw so many Let's Plays, and when he saw the trailer for I forgot which game it was that came out at the time, he was freaking out, and I was freaking out because, well, the song was so good. You know,
Oh, yeah.
simple and clean.
Yeah, even if you're not really a fan, like you gotta like the series just has a really cool with aesthetics. Like obviously with Tron, for example, but like also with like Kingdom Hearts 2 in particular. I love the Steamboat Willie world.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's one of the best worlds. But to get back on topic, let's move on to the only TV show Tron ever got, Uprising. Um,
Oh,
I've
here we go.
only I've only
The
seen
series that
I've only seen bits and pieces of this show, so it looks cool. I do remember seeing advertisements for this show back when it was airing on Disney XD. But so it looked really cool for a Disney XD show. So I'll pass it off to Mr. Convoy to give his thoughts on Tron Uprising.
What are you looking for? The next Tron. It's not about the uprising. You're my friend. It's just so good, man. Jeez, man. Just look, like the visuals are just like if you looked at like the short from Love, Death, and Robots' Zima Blue short from that show, like you could tell the artists not only captured the legacy look, but they were like, nah, you know what? We making it even bitchin'.
Yeah,
Tron Legacy 2.0.
yeah, yeah. To continue with that, yeah, there's the two best like pieces of Tron media. It's that Uprising is probably the only one that can rival, if not surpass, Legacy.
They had Pee Wee Herman play a villain, damn it.
True.
Yeah, it had a pretty stacked cast. Not just Pee Wee Herman. Elijah Wood played the main character.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, they were not able to get Jeff Bridges to play to play Clue or Flynn. Fucking, I forgot his name, but the dude who plays the Incredible Hulk really nailed the way he said.
Fred Tatasciore.
Yep, him. He nailed it. Like, just the fact that I heard him say, good. I'm like, is that Jeff Bridges? Did they get Jeff Bridges?
Yeah, the sound alike is it is completely like phenomenal, and that's not even mentioning that the original frickin' Tron came back for the show.
Oh,
I just want to say this about Uprising, right?
Yeah, we're still talking about Uprising.
Yeah. So I binged watched Uprising one night when I was a kid, like the whole series, and I loved it. Like it was honestly one of the best shows that I've watched. And you know, it's not just because of the story and stuff like that. Like it's the animation, and you want to know like who it's animated by, or you know which company animated it.
Who?
I'll just say this first. This counts as an anime. This is an anime. Like it's not just like an animated TV show. Like it's anime because it was animated by Polygon Pictures, right? And it's a Japanese studio that specializes in 3D CGI anime. And like the 3D CGI part, like I know that like a lot of anime fans will, you know, stay clear of that stuff, right? Like people see it as, you know, a bit lazy or
What's
a cheap, I guess. But a Polygon Pictures.
Polygon.
Yeah, Polygon Pictures. So I think, you know, like why I think the reason why they went to Polygon Pictures is because like they're willing to animate anything from the West for very cheap. Like they did this with a lot of studios overseas. Like they did this with Avatar: The Last Airbender with a Korean company. They did this with the Boondocks. But
Hang
I
on.
think what
Hang on, wait a minute. They did the Godzilla trilogy. I hate that trilogy, but honestly, it was really well animated. And they did Ultraman Cosmos too. But still,
yeah. So they did a lot of work, but I think what Uprising, what I think what made Uprising so appealing to me was like this was a very experimental show in terms of like animation and aesthetics. Like it didn't look like anything else on TV. Like it like the whole like black and white like the harsh shading and the neon highlights and stuff like that. Like it really wasn't like any other show that was on at that time. Like it was super experimental, and that's what I liked about it. So yeah, like it was way ahead of its time, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And like what really hyped me up the most about this studio is that they're actually working on this. Well, they're not working on the video game, but they helped work on this game that's coming out like really soon called Screamer. Like they're animating like cutscenes in that game, and it looks like so cool to me. But I digress. I digress, right? But yeah, Uprising's animation, like it's one of a kind. Like even to this day, like it still holds up.
I'm still
Yeah.
amazed that they managed to get not only Elijah Wood, but they managed to get Mandy Moore as well. By the way, for those of you that don't know who Mandy Moore is, she may be known as a singer to millennials, but to us Gen Zers, she's Rapunzel. The fact that they got her, and not only as the voice of Rapunzel, but working in Tron is absolutely it's absolutely incredible. Along with Paul Rubens as well. Like this is a stacked cast.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's not been like a stacked show quite like this from Disney up until like the DuckTales reboot.
Yeah.
yeah, this show that has the Doctor himself, David Tennant, just like literally the fact that, all right, just to break off topic slightly a bit, but just the fact that for one of the shorts to advertise the show involved one of the three triplets literally playing around with a time machine, warping Scrooge McDuck forwards and backwards through time. They knew what they did. They knew who they got. They knew what they wanted to do. Shame they didn't have a TARDIS back in the background somewhere.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway.
So. And unfortunately, this show had a very short lifespan, as it only
One season.
lasted for 2 seasons actually.
That's two.
What? One season actually.
Oh, okay. Because Wikipedia.
Oh, right. They had the concept of the second season. They didn't go full season 2.
Yeah. So it only had 19 episodes, and it didn't even last a year. Unfortunately, I think what caused it is that they only aired it on Disney XD, and not everyone had Disney XD. It was an extra packaging, and unfortunately, thanks to that, it technically was sent out. They technically sent that show out to die. Which is so.
In fact, in the later part of the show, they sent it to the midnight slot, which is literally you. That's what you do to shows you want dead.
Yeah. That and one more thing, it was released the year after the movie. If it was
2
released,
years actually,
2 years after the movie, so it was released. So it was like released after like the film bombed through its run.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. At least we got to add the trailer for it in the DVD box.
Yeah, freaking. They just left. They dropped the movie. They left they did nothing with Tron for 2 years straight, and then we're like, okay, there's the show. You get nothing else.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. They also had the Tron video games.
Well, the Tron, Tron Evolution, which I actually have played. It's an alright game. It came out at the same time, actually a little bit before the movie.
Speaking of
And the
evolution,
same with the
let's go
comic.
talk about that.
Yeah.
That's actually the next topic.
Yeah, Evolution's it's a pretty alright game. It's like it's kind of weird because the game, like, Loki has a lot of DNA with Epic Mickey of all things.
That would have been that's something they brought up in that game. One of the Pete's is a Tron.
Yeah, Petronic, baby.
Something tells me the fact that the OG grid was in Epic Mickey kind of tells you a lot about what Disney did with the franchise after Legacy.
Oh yes, they
kind of dropped it.
Yeah, which is a tragedy because this game and the is like a sign that the devs, like, even though the budget definitely wasn't quite the biggest, it legitimately tried. It tells a kind of an interesting, like, prequel story to the original not the Legacy. It tells a prequel story to Legacy in an interesting way.
One of the things I personally feel kind of upset about was that this game was actually developed alongside the movie as it was evolving. Like, if you paid close attention, there were some details that you could know that they were part of that it was part of the initial concept.
Oh yeah, they worked with it, and it tells a kind of interesting story, like, of how Clue's uprising took place.
Not only that, but when you play as the character, he, like, apparently through evolution, originally it was just going to be a playable adaptation of Legacy's Comic-Con short. You know, when they made the concept trailer and they gave it out to everybody in Comic-Con, everyone, and they were like, "Will this work?" Next thing you know, everyone was freaking out, like, "Oh my God, it's back!"
Yeah,
pretty much.
Overall, this game is it's kind of short. It apparently had a really cool online, but that's dead.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I played Evolution, actually. I got the chance to play it, like, when it came out, and I was able to experience the online play while the servers were still up, and I'll just say, like, it wasn't really that good back then. Like even when the servers were still up, online was kind of dead. But it did have like some cool parts. Like, there were times when the server was lively enough, like, we would have, like, light cycle battles and stuff like that. But and then somebody just comes in with a freaking tank for some reason and basically just ruins the whole lobby. So
sometimes people will have to be that guy in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess you guys haven't. I'm assuming you guys haven't played the other game, Battle Grids.
Nope.
No.
Now, unfortunately, I was not even though I was a Nintendo kid when I was just a little baby boo at my grandma's. My grandmother never got the game, and my brother and I never played it.
Yeah, I never played it either. So let's move on. Let's move on to
Evolution's the coolest one.
Yeah, okay. Let's move on to Tron Evolution, and let's talk about the Light Cycle theme park from Disney Epcot. So I went to Disney World twice. I never went to Epcot. So I need to change that the next time I go to Disney World.
Well, you're in luck because we have somebody who's ridden the ride at Epcot. Retro. What is your opinion on the ride?
Oh, it's pretty dang fun. I went just a few months ago in October, and actually during that time they were doing they had the ride transformed for to celebrate the release of Ares, which was really cool. Yeah, they turned the ride red, and the coolest part was it plays the soundtrack, the Nine Inch Nails soundtrack.
That's
It is such
awesome.
a really cool experience. But yeah, the as far as I know, the difference between it and the original ride is really just that. It's the color, and the storyline's a little different.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's
No,
a really cool, simple experience.
A simple experience, a
Yeah,
simply
it's
very effective experience.
yeah.
What I find, what I find to be the most, I've never rated myself, but what I find to be the biggest appealing thing is just how visually different it is compared to everywhere else in the
Oh, yeah.
park.
Yeah.
Like if
It's
you look at the rest of Tomorrowland or whatnot, you can tell like this is the same thing. This is like all this similar aesthetic, and then you turn and you see this beautiful and albeit very wavy and almost alien look that brings in the Tron aesthetic to it all.
Oh yeah. Especially just waiting in line is really cool because you just hear the Daft Punk soundtrack like playing it as ambiance. It's so cool.
One of the cool things I really like is that the logo is like it's not just one, but it's a merger of both logos of the films, of the first two logos. Like
Yeah.
Like it just looks cool.
Yeah. Shoutouts to Disneyland Hong Kong for getting this going. Like they took a gamble on this and it became a really popular ride and it came to all the other Disneylands.
Honestly, I feel like Tomorrowland is overrated, and they should instead rework it into Grid World.
Which grid though?
The
A
great
merger
grid.
of both, a merger of both aesthetics, mainly from Legacy, but subtle hints of the original.
Honestly, they probably would go for like an original amalgamation grid.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Right. Tesla, I'm assuming you've never rode the Tron light cycle.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Let's move on to the light cycle and move into the two video games that just recently came out, Tron Catalyst and Identity. I don't know what Tron Catalyst is, so I'll have to see some screenshots. Identity is a visual novel. From what I've heard,
Basically,
it's not a
Rampa
very
in
it's not
Tron.
yeah, it's not a very long visual novel. What I do know is that they're both prequels to Legacy.
Almost every video game is a prequel or
they're
spin-off of the
independent, but
best movie.
yeah.
And Mr. Retro, have you played either of these games?
Sadly, no.
Okay, yeah.
I myself haven't played the games either, but personally, I feel like the biggest. I think by this point we're all picking up a trend when it came to Tron. It's always experimenting.
Right.
So,
and
an evolution of food, if you will.
Yeah. Tez, I'm assuming I'm assuming you have not played either of these games too.
Catalyst and what else?
Identity.
Yeah, I haven't played either of those two. No.
Okay. So not much there to be said. I'm still amazed that they're published by those two games are published by the same company, Bethel Games.
Yeah. Yeah, they're kind of pseudo sequels to themselves.
Pseudo sequels, like they both live. I believe one of them lives in an alternate version of the grid away from the main grid.
Yes, the story of both of them is that they're set on the Arc grid, where it's a secondary grid that Flynn created to house the ISOs away from the main grid. So it's kind of an isolated story within this, where all of the characters are ISOs.
Okay, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
Then now let's move on to the last thing of the Tron franchise, Ares.
Oh boy.
Definitely the most divisive theme in the definitely the most divisive
Oh,
theme
yep.
in the Tron franchise.
Yeah, duh.
Yeah, this is
I personally like the movie. It's if I want to rank it out of all the Tron movies, it's definitely my least favorite. But it's not. I would not say it's bad. I would definitely not say it's bad because the visuals and the music is absolutely incredible. I I didn't care. I The only characters that I care for are Ares and Athena. Like I would say this: Athena is by far the best part of the movie. Jodie Turner Smith went off as Athena by far,
Actually,
but an intimidating villain. Athena was an intimidating villain. Nine Inch Nails went off on the soundtrack. Literally,
yeah.
the Nine Inch Nails' soundtrack is by far the best part of the movie, and along with the visuals being amazing, and I love the action sequences and the sound effects is hearing the sound effects in theaters is absolutely incredible. A once in a
Yeah.
lifetime experience in theaters. So, but
Yeah.
overall, not my favorite Disney movie of last year. That honor now goes to Zootopia 2. So I
True.
I I think I like Tron Ares. I that said, I I don't I don't see anything going forward for the Tron franchise anytime soon because this movie is unfortunately a box office failure. And I'll pass this off to
Yeah.
Mr. Retro.
Yeah. This well, I guess the one undecisive thing is that it is probably the second best soundtrack in the entire freaking series. Like it gets close, I think, to the Daft Punk score from Legacy. Like it not quite. I don't think it quite, but it's pretty damn good. It's especially as its own thing. But wow, oh my goodness, everything else.
for me, for me personally, I feel like personally for me, I wasn't a bit. Though I love the movie myself, personally, I'd put the original over Ares because of few things that they did that I think they should have like expanded upon through this movie. For one thing, the fact that the original grid is essentially like a new, a suspended in animation style like history program, and the fact that there's more than just one program, one version of the grid, it's such a cool concept, but they don't do much with it. They just said, here's Encom's grid getting attacked by the main characters, and now here's our grid. Now let's just focus mainly on the real world and how everyone would react to that.
Yeah,
Like I get it. I get it. That's kind of the point of the movie. Legacy was building up to it. Was kind of building up to that. But wouldn't it have been so much cooler to have it focus on like a neat little interaction between grid and programmer to show like how to show how much a program needs their users and why just having the users attack, just go out and try to like not. I know this wasn't a full-on all-out war because the trailers kind of wrongfully made us assume such a thing. Why are we bringing up all this gigantic war vessel? Why are we doing this to find one girl? Because she has the code that will bring us to reality permanently.
The MacGuffin, basically.
She became she has the MacGuffin in her brain.
Yeah, this yeah that's just the problem with like the film hinges on the interesting premise of a program in the real world, and it does absolutely nothing to sell it if we're gonna be real.
Yeah, it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, like especially like
It's a
the
great
previous,
movie.
yeah, the previous films understood that the grid was the center point and set like 2/3 of their films in the grid.
Exactly. So why not? So, but I think the big reason why they wanted to bring it to the real world was, well, visual. Like like just a light cycle moving around the same time as normal vehicles. That's cool. I like that.
It was kind of teased in Legacy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They teased it, but why not play into it? Like, should we bring the grid to the real world? And if so, how badly do we want it?
Yeah, that's the problem.
I think it played it way too safe with the themes it was trying to explore. Like a lot of the themes that it explores, like the concept of like living and to the perspective of an artificial life form, things of that nature. Like the movie does touch upon that, but it's like very surface level. Like it's a very basic like theater friendly way of touching upon that stuff. Like it doesn't really it doesn't really do anything that helped me sympathize with Ares better. So I think I think the story was a little bit weak, and I think it relied a bit too much on nostalgia and fan service to get the job done. Like showcasing the original grid. I thought that was kind of cool. I think that was a good use of nostalgia, I guess. But then they did it again with the post-credits scene, and I was like, okay, yeah, you overstayed your welcome. Please just end the movie now.
Personally, just the fact. All right, this is just my thing. I didn't, of course, since I'm a big Tron fan, it didn't mind me, but I can see why focusing too much on nostalgia kind of made other people back away from it, because people would wrongfully assume, oh, you had to watch the previous movies.
So the first time they did it, it was important, like it actually mattered to the story, right? Because Ares needed to go into the original grid, Flynn's grid, as it's called, to see Kevin Flynn, because he has what he needs to stop the villain. But then the next time they did it, showing the main villain, who was so
Dillinger.
forgettable that, like honestly, the villain was so forgettable that I forgot his name. Showing him turning into SARS.
Sark.
I'm sorry, Sark. Showing him turning into Sark, like obviously that was a tease for a sequel, which is never going to happen because the film flopped. The story was already done, and they're trying to write off of nostalgia again just to get people interested, and I don't think it really worked to me.
That's the biggest problem is that, like, the fact that they focused more on the first movie than Legacy, in my opinion, though, I was kind of disappointed they only had like Sam and Cora be like waved away by a few images. I personally liked the fact that they paid more attention to the first movie, since Legacy kind of got a lot of people into the series, but people would falsely assume that it was the first movie. No, it isn't. And now you're back to the first movie to see why it's so important to this franchise. That is pretty cool. But I believe the biggest problem is that because they focused way too much on adding such nostalgia to it all, that it wrongfully made people assume that you had to go back and watch the first two movies. Which if you watched both movies beforehand, great, you're all caught up. But if you don't, you can still catch up as to what's going on. This
Yeah.
the
Yeah, one of the best
I
things
I
uh,
I have a feeling that people that do prefer the first Tron movie over Legacy will get more out of Ares than they did with Legacy, since they
yeah,
actually
the two people on the planet.
they actually did brought out some ideas that the first movie was introduced, such as the Master Control Program, which was a big thing in the first Tron movie. That was a
yeah,
big thing in Ares.
yeah.
I
Now,
think if the movie paid more attention to Ares instead of, the CEO, I also forgot her name, and her stupid employees and friends, I feel like it would have been, a much better movie.
Yeah.
personally, I think it would be personally. Okay, I know I'm gonna go way too much into what if super nerd Ethan Convoy wrote Tron Ares and created it himself, but personally, going back to the whole idea of what if we saw like how programs and users interact from inside and outwards, it would also help expand upon what they kind of brought up in the first two movies. That to programs, users are essentially deities, gods. Literally in the first movie, a poor program was just getting tossed into a cell and said, "My user would be very angry with you." Great, another religious nut. They brought up religion in a PG movie. Literally when Sam Flynn literally picked up Cora and was running away, you could literally see the camera pointing focus on people literally praying to him.
I thought that was honestly really cool because it's like these ISOs, or I wouldn't even call them ISOs because I don't think they were ISOs. Like Core is the last ISO, right? Like I thought it was really interesting that that these programs basically saw Kevin Flynn as not just their creator but also like a sort of deity. Like I thought that was really cool.
He's the hippie Jesus.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't just Jesus. Like he was God. Like he was literally.
Yeah, part of the film Legacy was him kind of being this flawed god who had to deal with his own devil.
Yeah, the devil of his own creation.
Yeah.
But personally, if also actually there's a little bit of a fun thing if you paid attention. Like I'm not too much of a mythology guy, but if you notice in Greek mythology, Ares or Mars was kind of the evil bad version of war. All the bad stuff, all the negative stuff, all the death, the destruction, throwing away morality for survival, and all the ugly parts. But Artemis not only was the goddess of the hunt, but was also the good aspects of gods. She was protection, honor, kindness amongst your peers, respect amongst your army. But Ares kind of flipped the dichotomy. Now she's the more violent parts of war, whereas Ares being more curious and kind-hearted than his namesake.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, a lot of ways you can almost consider Ares to be a mirror of of Tron himself.
Also, but can we all admit the fact that his new the end outfit was just so cool?
Yeah, that outfit looks sick.
Mhm.
Before I end this video off and say our goodbyes, we were supposed to get a third Tron movie before Ares.
Oh yeah,
This movie was called Ascension. So
yeah,
that movie was a lot of the main cast for Tron Legacy was supposed to return on that sequel.
Yeah.
Wanna know why that never came to fruition? Tomorrowland. You heard me.
yeah,
Tron Ascension never happened because of Tomorrowland. For those that don't know, there was a movie called Tomorrowland, which was that came out in 2015. That was directed by Brad Bird. That movie was a critical and a commercial failure. So much so that they shelved almost every single science fiction property Disney has made, Tron included. And ever since then, they just mainly focus on Star Wars for science fiction. And
Yep.
while they did make Tron Ares, it was mainly because of Jared Leto. Jared Leto is the main reason why we got Tron Ares.
Listen, condone him how
And
much you like, but the fact that he was basically saying, listen, I'll work on your movie, but it has to be on Tron, okay? Make sure Tron is released. Like, he is, yes, he has problems. Yes, he has a lot of problems. In fact, I
Well,
wouldn't
yeah,
be
he's got
surprised.
allegations just to warn you about defending him.
Exactly. He has a lot of allegations.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be shocked if the allegations were the big reason why Ares kind of bombed, because they didn't want to support an actor who was, well,
it's one of the-
bad.
I think it was also because of Morbius.
it's-
Because
it's-
while these
it's-
accusations were coming
yeah.
up, like there was Morbius, which he also starred in,
Yeah.
that basically became a meme.
Yeah, Jared Leto
I
being there
think-
is Jared Leto being there is one of the reasons why this movie bombed. But there
Yeah.
I think
He's got a
I think
history
the
of, like,
biggest problem
behavior
so
and-
far is that Tron Ares just came in it released way too late. Like
It
it
was
released and during like a big worldwide discussion of AI and things of that nature, being a huge topic in the world right now. And Tron Ares came out it came out and it touched upon AI, but by that point, like, the topic was already sour. Like everything that was already said and done about AI, it was already talked about, and it doesn't really bring anything new to the table. So
Yeah.
I think that's also one of the biggest reasons why it failed.
Yeah.
It was a big nothing burger when it came to
Yeah.
that topic.
Yeah, it came so late that it effectively had to be like another reboot, like potentially be like millions of people's very first Tron movie, just like Legacy was, and it ironically is a terrible film in that regard.
and
Yeah,
another
because the whole sorry.
and another reason why Ares flopped. Tron as a franchise is not popular. It is an incredibly niche franchise. Whether you guys
Unfortunately,
want to
yeah.
admit it or not, this is not
Like
a popular franchise.
The
The
biggest
fact that we
thing is
even-
that a lot of
The fact that we even got 3 movies and TV shows is honestly a miracle. It's a miracle. I'll end it there.
Yeah.
Okay.
what I find to be one of the mind-boggling things that I've seen about Ares is that this is technically what Ascension is after numerous rewrites and
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually
That's-
something interesting that some people have suggested that the CEO and her partner in the original version of Ascension was actually supposed to be Sam and Cora.
Yeah, that's what I.
but since they
too.
were in
Yeah,
one of the personally I find this to be this has nothing against like the human characters, but if they had just made the character like, she was very likable. I'm a guy who's protective of the Ares characters, but like they tried to do something with them. Whether yes, it made her a MacGuffin. They gave her sister gave her a tragic backstory with her sister and all that. And it really, mainly because it really did hurt close to home for me.
The issue wasn't them. It was just that, like, they had these original characters and they didn't really give them their spotlight.
Yeah, they didn't really give her a chance to stand out as a character throughout the story.
Yeah, Can you even name her her partner who sits with her the whole time?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Her partner?
yeah.
Yeah, her partner outside of Ares himself.
Yeah. The fact that we're just calling it her, do we even remember her name?
Eve Kim.
Oh, there you go. Damn,
Yeah, like the only character I really remember Ares, that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I only
And yeah, that's it.
I only know Ares and Athena. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how much Athena stood out to me.
Person, what I find to be the funniest thing about this is that Dillinger is that the villain of the movie, the real quote unquote villain of the movie, is Dillinger, and he is forgettable compared to his original character, him in the original. Like he is literally just tech bro idiot who in a tuxedo and not realizing, ah shit, wait a minute, I fucked up too bad.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
the
not the
reason
film.
why Dillinger and, Eve Kim, like why both of them are so forgettable is because they're both like really two-dimensional as characters. Like they don't really have much development or, much obstacles towards, their development. And to be honest, it's arguable if they even had development at all, because through the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, they're both just one thing. Like we can use AI to save the world versus we can use AI to destroy the world, or
We can
use it
use
for
it
the
to
military
capitalize
and
on
stuff
weapons
like that.
technology.
Yeah, like there's nothing dynamic about those goals in any single way, and they stay the same all throughout the movie.
But I do want to admit one thing: the fact that the whole laser grid, the different aesthetics to the laser grids is really really cool.
Yeah, that's.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
if this thing, if this
they
film
could have just done the same
succeeded-
thing. But
Yeah.
Retro, what were you saying?
Yeah, this film succeed where it failed in the characterization of the whole Dillinger thing. Visually, they got it down pat.
Just the fact that they made Dillinger the MCP face in the wall is so cool. Is so fun. It's both so fun, and so cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And a nice little callback to the original, since by technicality, Ed Dillinger was the man behind it.
It reminded me of Shark Boy and Lava Girl for some reason. I'm sorry.
fair enough.
Mr. Electric, have him expelled!
Mr. Electric.
Yeah. So, with that out of the way, that
He's not
will
as
be
good as
the end. That will be the end of the video. Regarding how the future holds for Tron, not gonna sugarcoat it. It is not looking good. There is.
It's not
It is
looking
bleak. It is very, very bleak.
We can
Yeah.
pray, but it's it's all your fault, Jared. Well, it's Disney, and then it's also your fault, Jared.
It's also, and you know who I also blame? People who don't think Tron is a good franchise.
I mean, we will.
I'll give Jared credit. Like, he was the one that actually, got the sequel made. But at the same time, he's also the one that ruined it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Forever. We got a Tron movie. Yay! It stars Jared Leto. Oh.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. I think this is the end of Tron as we know it. I mean,
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not.
It's in the hands of the fans now.
It's in the hands of the fans. To me, this is all right. Everyone, this is call me toxically optimistic. Call me stupid. Call me a dumb idiot who
No,
deserves to be
hit
shot
up
into
that
the Dillinger
hopium.
grid. But I still think Tron has hope. Somewhere at Disney, yes, it could be some big heads up guy who doesn't know what he's doing, or someone who wants to know what they're doing. They want to bring Tron back. It's in our hands. It's in their hands. And one day, when we least expect it, when we don't believe that it's ever going to come back, we will be back in the grid.
Yeah.
The grid will be seen again.
Yeah.
About 15 years from now, but yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hopefully not that. Hopefully not that long, but
Yeah, it's important. Yeah, it's always important that even though Tron has never been popular, it's always had its niche. The first film was huge inspiration to the industry going forward. Legacy almost was a hit, and it
just wasn't. It just wasn't Star Wars to them.
Yeah, we got so close so many times, but it keeps tripping, you know.
Mainly because I think I found out the big reason why Tron failed.
It's cursed.
It's compared to Star Wars.
I don't really see how.
Yeah,
No.
especially Legacy. There was besides the Clone Wars, there was no new Star Wars content.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's compared to Star Wars a lot. I'm saying in comparison to a sci-fi franchise as Star Wars, Tron is a big risk. People just didn't know any better. Tron was ahead of its time. And when it was in its time, it was already compared to franchises that had done more, that had brought in more capital. Tron isn't a capital franchise. Tron is a franchise to experiment with. Tron is somewhere you can go back to.
The experimentation is kind of a symptom of the fact that it's been so sporadic and not been successful. Like a series that have success usually are more consistent.
Yeah, but to me, I think the experimentation aids in making Tron so unique. Like first movie, it experimented with CGI. It brought in a new medium to watch entertainment. It was so good to me. It was really, really good at the time, mainly for its time. Legacy came out and expanded upon the world, expanded upon the ideas and the characters and what made it work. Ares, they took a big step, though it was also a massive step back. Tron isn't a perfect franchise, and that's why I love it. Every single flaw it has, it aids into its uniqueness. Tron stands out because compared to its contemporary massive franchises like Dune, of course, as I said earlier, mentioned numerous times, Star Wars and Marvel, and numerous others, it helps helps make it stand out more, and it's really aided in inspiring a lot of artists, a lot of fans, to stand up for it.
For all it's worth, it is a very interesting series. It almost is like it's like the other half of cyberpunk that is normally cyberpunk in movies is only explored through the physical world, but a lot of them neglect that the other half of cyberpunk is cyberspace. And
Johnny Mnemonic, Neuromancer.
I'm talking about from a film experience. Remember?
No, I know that. I'm bringing up other.
That's what I'm saying. Is that there's the novels all the birthplace of cyberpunk. It balances both, but the films have always focused on the physical world, and Tron is interesting, and that's one of the few that have dared to explore the digital realm.
Yeah, the only other cyberpunk film that I can think of that really does that is The Matrix.
Yeah. And The Matrix explores it in a very different, but also very interesting way.
There's also Blade Runner. That's also kind of in the same situation as Tron as well.
Yeah. Personally, okay. Blade Runner is, because of the Sid Mead comparison, I kind of like that we made it go full circle. But I think Blade Runner was more of the physical, big world part of science, of the cyberpunk world, where, as Robert mentioned earlier, or had bluntly brought out, Tron is the internal cyber world, the world of cyberspace.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the big problem with cyberpunk as a genre now is that it's aging, like not aging bad, but aging well. Like it's aging too well, honestly, because back in like in the late 70s into the 80s, with all the novels by Philip K. Dick, basically becoming the foundations for many of the cyberpunk movies that we know today, like Blade Runner, Minority Report, and Total Recall. Like they were like these stories were written as like political commentary, right? On
Yeah. They were
on
comments.
capitalism and the state of the world at that time, and like they weren't just warning signs, like they were already present, but they just amplified it. But at like today, like right now, like like what was amplified back then is basically our reality. So in a way, like these movies are aging a bit too well, like especially with the onset of AI and mega corporations and stuff like that. So like a lot of cyberpunk movies today, like especially ones that involve AI, like Tron and Blade Runner, for example, um like they're not there's like they're no longer becoming like like new discussions, and now they're just becoming like the current discussions, and people want something new.
I mean, at the same time, it's also very important that there's also just as many film like that's a very important genre too. That films talking about the present moment. It's just that cyberpunk is no longer the warning. It is it
Yeah,
is
like
a political thriller.
like people watch movies for an escape. Like they want to see a world that isn't much like theirs, or they want to see characters that aren't much like them. So like Blade Runner, for example, like it's like it um I wouldn't I don't think we've gotten to that point yet, honestly. But as time goes on, like there's gonna come a point where Blade Runner is gonna be, just like no different from the real world, unfortunately.
Personally, even though everyone's talking, I optimistically say stuff like this, but personally, I just hope in the future, I just hope the future is like Cowboy Bebop than Blade Runner, mainly because like it's just mundane enough that it feels like nothing's changed, only to notice the giant spaceships everywhere.
Oh yeah, yeah, that would honestly be pretty cool. But you know what they say, born too late to explore the world, born too soon to explore the stars, born just right, just at the right moment to be paying taxes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Born just in time to experience Tron in almost real time. We're a little bit too young to have seen the first film, but we got everything else at least.
We personally for me, I would have just written like if I was so good with programming, I would have programmed like an anti-AI program and just called it Tron anyway. Give it to everybody who wanted him, and then next thing you know, Tron's just blowing up every single AI shit everywhere.
So you made an AI to destroy AI.
The perfect. I use the AI to destroy the AI.
I use the stones to destroy the stones.
This sounds like the plot of a really.
As you can tell, I kind of canceled AI with AI. So
wait a minute, isn't this Mega Man Battle Network?
Oh my god!
All right. Anyways,
yeah.
As much as I would love to see a fourth Tron film concluding storylines and not only the first Tron movie but Legacy with with Sam and Cora's storyline being concluded, even though I would argue their story already concluded in Legacy, it's just I just don't see it happening. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah, it's over. I'm just
To me, I again, I'm not the one who I don't hear no bell. I don't hear no bell. So
Listen,
there's still a chance. There's still a chance that somewhere down the road we will see a Tron movie. It's not gonna be. I know it's not gonna be like next 5 years or so, but there's still potential, guys. Still a bit of potential to have people interested in Tron.
I mean,
we just need to kidnap the CEO. Oh, I didn't say anything.
we'll see. I guess. We'll see. I
We'll
guess.
see, but
I'll just end it off here. All right. Let's start with Mr. Tesla Rosa. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so hi, once again, I'm Tez La Rosa, or just Tez for short. You can find me on ZipZap, that's my YouTube channel, or ZipZap2, not squared, 2 on YouTube. You can also find me on Tez La Rosa 4 at X or Twitter, however you want to call it. Um, and yeah, that's about it. Great being on here.
And Mr. Convoy, do you have any socials where people can find you?
no. I'd rather, for the time being, I'd rather want to be private at the moment. But I'm just so glad that I was here and to discuss one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's great. It was great to be here.
And Mr. Retro, do you have any socials where people can find you?
I only have a blue sky, but my books might be in a bookstore near you. If the plan A works out.
All right. As for me, you can find me on Letterbox, Instagram, and Backlog down in the description down below. I will also put Tesla's YouTube channel also down in the description down below. And that would be it for me on us talking about it entering the grid. This is Nomicon. I'll see you all next time.